you should have an outside watchdog, and the Secrecy more or less created an exterritorial area in Israel where standard procedures of safety monitoring is not implemented. So worker safety, environmental questions, industrial safety procedures, all are not covered, and there are thousands of people working there.
But the secrets of this old reactor are beginning to leak. Evidence has seeped out of accidents, lies and deceit. In 1996, the press heard rumors of a radioactive hotspot in the desert. The Environment Minister took them to watch him test the site with a Geiger counter. They weren't allowed to bring their own, one journalist told me. The minister proclaimed the site clean. The readings for radioactivity his instrument showed were below normal. But journalists weren't happy.
מה שאנחנו מוטרדים זה מנושא הקבורה של הפסולת גבוהה. אתה יכול להגיד לנו איפה למשל קבורה הפסולת כזו?
במקום טוב. באמת, אני לא יכול, אני אומר לך בגילוי, כלומר, אין טעם שתלחצי עליי. זה דבר שהוא מוגדר על ידי מישהו צריך להיות מוגדר, בעל הבית שלי, הוא יפטר אותי. ראש הממשלה כדבר שלא מפרסמים אותו.
עכשיו אנחנו מגלים בפעם הראשונה את פעולות ההסוואה של הכור.
But on Israeli television last year, a groundbreaking documentary alleged it was a cover-up. Aryeh Spieler, a Holocaust survivor and a loyal Dimona worker for 27 years, described how he'd been told to prepare the site for the minister's visit by removing contaminated waste from a deep crater. He said he'd replaced it with fresh soil and planted trees to cover the hole, as though it had never happened. Then he said they brought the minister and the press to prove that everything was okay. 5 Dimona workers appeared on the program. They'd given their lives for Dimona, they said, and now they felt betrayed. They broke no secrets, only the code of silence. They said they'd worked with uranium. There were fires, spills, explosions of toxic gas. Now that they were sick, they said, the plant didn't want to know. The management was denying they'd worked with radioactive materials, and because they were bound to secrecy, they couldn't fight for their rights. The program listed more than 100 Dimona workers who developed cancer and whose claims were being ignored. A doctor and 2 lawyers backed their story. It was the first time Dimona workers had spoken out. I want to talk to Aryeh Spieler. He's suffering from cancer, and in the last few years he's seen a number of his friends and colleagues who worked there with him die of the disease. He's been fighting for compensation for their families, for their widows, and I know he'd really like to talk to us about this. He's told me he wishes he could, but he's also told me he's been warned off. He's been told not to talk. But I'm going to go and see him and see if he'll change his mind. I just wanted to ask you, why you can't...
הביטחון סגר אותי מהקריה ועד לקריית כמה. סגרו אותי לגמרי ואמרו, אין. מילה אחת, אז מה אני אעשה? מה אני אעשה? אמרו לי, יש לך סוף של בנות. נו, מה תגיד על זה? הוא כבר יושב כמה? 15 שנה. 15 שנה יושב במלאץ'. אני נורא רוצה. עשיתי סיבוב על כולם. וכולם אמרים לו. כל החבר'ה שראיתי בטוח שילכו איתי לפחות קבוצה, אף אחד.
It was time to try the others, the doctors, the relatives, the lawyers.
Hello?
Hello. I just wanted to ask you whether there would be any possibility of doing an interview with you about the cancer victims and about their case.
I'm really reluctant to be interviewed publicly on the media over this story overseas. It's just not appropriate.
But why is it so sensitive?
Come on now. Any discussion of nuclear issues is sensitive.
I talked with my family. I don't want to participate in this. I don't think it's the right thing to do.
Nobody is prepared to talk about it.
There are things that are not, it's not good to talk about, even if you're a lawyer.
Are you worried about a sort of Vanunu scenario?
Of course you think about it.
I just don't get it. If this was the Soviet Union or Iraq or North Korea, I'd understand why people are so scared to talk. But this is Israel. It's supposed to be a democracy.
In Israel today, an invisible power enforces the code of silence through fear. It comes from one man whose own identity was itself a secret until 2 years ago. Yehiel Horev.
Horev is the smartest, most brilliant official figure in the sense of gathering power. He took some kind of very small office and made him the 4th intelligence agency in Israel, with no law, with no real scrutiny and monitoring by the Israeli parliament. And in this sense, he's I think, a grave danger to Israeli democracy.
For 16 years, Horev has been the faceless guardian of Israel's secrets. His picture has never been published unmasked. Till now. It's Horev from his office at the Ministry of Defense who is blocking Vanunu's early release. But next year Vanunu's sentence is up, so Horev found a new Vanunu. Brigadier General Yitzak Yakov, known to his friends as Yatza. In his retirement he wrote a fictionalized memoir and talked on camera about his life. A distinguished soldier and scientist, Yakov had for years led Israel's top-secret weapons development program. So eminent was he was a candidate for the prestigious Israel Prize. But when he told his life story to a journalist, he broke the rules. The journalist was Ronan Bergman. He showed his article, as all Israelis must, to the censor. It went straight to Horev, who sent in the heavies.
They were deadly, deadly serious. My phones were bugged. I was followed by Israeli Secret Service. Yatza was followed by Israeli Secret Service. And the whole system was surrounding us and following us and stalking us.
Yakov went from hero to zero. He was arrested secretly and charged with treason. He spent 2 years fighting Horev. 2 years of jail, heart disease, bankruptcy, and house arrest ended in public disgrace. He was spared prison, but the court found him guilty of betraying Israel's secrets.
Horev was afraid that veterans of the Israeli army, the Israeli intelligence, the Israeli nuclear effort would try to maintain their footprint in the history of Israel and tell their story, and he wanted to frighten them, and in this sense he was successful.